Hi, I'm Renee Trainer, Team Leader of Diversity and Inclusion at the City of Canterbury-Bankstown and producer of the Voices of CBCity podcast, which is recorded on Darug country. I'm a descendant of Northern European and African migrants and granddaughter to Australia's 1 millionth migrant back in 1949. I was born here on Darug country and have many fond memories of my childhood, schooling and beginning to raise my own family here on Darug country. I would like to pay my respects to their elders gone before us, those who currently lead in our community, and those who will follow in the many generations to come. I recognise their enduring connections to the land, rivers and community, as well as the importance of storytelling that has been practiced for thousands of generations. I also acknowledge the significance of truth-telling in the process of reconciliation and social cohesion. This is something that I'm passionate to continue to foster through the production of the Voices of CBCity podcast.
Hi, I'm James, local resident of Canterbury-Bankstown.
And I'm Anna, Community Development Worker in Canterbury-Bankstown.
Canterbury-Bankstown is rich in diversity, from the languages spoken, countries of birth, journeys to CBCity, along with the various identities, abilities, faiths practiced, achievements and multi-generations.
Together, we'll be interviewing a range of community members from Canterbury-Bankstown. We'll be amplifying diverse voices from across the CBCity to give you an insight into other cultures. Together, we're working to create a great CBCity where we all belong, feel welcome, safe and embrace our differences. This is Voices of CBCity.
In September 2017, Councillor El-Hayek was elected to the newly merged city of Canterbury-Bankstown and served 2 terms as Deputy Mayor before being elected as Mayor unopposed on Thursday the 11th of May 2023. And he was re-elected unopposed as Mayor on Tuesday 15th October 2024. He currently lives in Greenacre with his wife and his 4 children. After leaving Lebanon in 1999, Mayor El-Hayek arrived in Australia at just 12 years old, being unable to speak a word of English. He attended an intensive English school before enrolling at Belmore Boys High and finishing his senior years at Noor al Houda school at Strathfield. His passion is to serve the community and give a voice to those with no voice. One of his first jobs included becoming a youth coordinator at the Bankstown Police Citizens and Youth Club, managing and mentoring many youth and facilitating family programs. Bilal, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
No worries, absolute pleasure. I suppose the first thing that we'd like to delve into, when we last spoke, you said that you had quite the relationship with the Canterbury Bulldogs.
Oh, yes.
Is there anything you'd like to tell us about your affiliation with them?
Yeah, sure. Best team in the competition. I'll go a bit further, best team in the world.
Yeah.
But no, it's growing up, when I arrived in Australia, they were doing so well. We lived in the area.
Yep.
I still remember the 2004 grand final. It was a brilliant time. I remember dancing and jumping, and when we won that premiership in 2004. So I'm very passionate about the Bulldogs. I love watching the boys go out every week and having a crack.
I suppose we'll go back to 1999. So you're 12 years old, you just arrived in Australia. Can you tell us a little bit about what it must have been like moving to a different country at such a young age?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult for us to come into, to leave family and friends back home in Lebanon. But it was a time where my parents decided to come to Australia for a better life for us and better education. It was my brother and my sister that were at university. It was private university in Lebanon, and my dad could no longer afford to, pay, and there was a few of us coming through. So he said, okay, we need to go to Australia, and we came to Australia in 1999. It was very difficult leaving behind, as I said, family, friends, couldn't speak a word of English, starting a new life. So I went to Beverly Hills Intensive English School for about, I think, 6 to 9 months, where I had to go and learn to speak English, write English. We did the very basic in Lebanon, but, it wasn't English.
Not fluency.
No. It was very, very basic.
Yeah.
So we came here, went to English school, but even that, you still had to interact with people. You learn through interaction. And then from there I went to Belmore Boys High School. Actually went to Punchbowl Boys High School for one day. I don't know why my dad decided it was one day, but it was for one day.
A revolutionary one day.
And then from there I went to Belmore Boys in Year 8 before going to AIA. Well, it's now called AIA, and graduating out of there. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't like anyone else. Your friends. You had to connect with a certain friends that could speak Arabic. And you had to. Whether it's playing sport, whether, education, and I wasn't the smartest kid in school or in class for that matter. So I had to, start almost everything from scratch.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, but it wasn't an easy transition. It was very difficult. Just like any other kid, that it comes from to a brand new country. You struggle to adapt. You struggle to learn the language.
Yeah.
I had to learn to watch rugby league pretty quickly with my cousins. When you have your cousins here, I had some cousins here. So they taught me, rugby league. They taught me a number of things, and so it was a blessing. And coming here, there's no doubt, best country in the world, country of opportunities. A country where it gives us so much. So it was probably the best decision my parents have ever made for us, bringing us to this country. The most basic thing we look at the moment is safety is a blessing.
Absolutely. And like you said, there's a big element of that family dynamic as well in creating that safety as well. Growing up, did you ever feel like there was times where you didn't feel necessarily included?
Oh, look, yes and no. Look, living in Canterbury-Bankstown, since I have ever arrived, it's home. And I think it's home for a lot of migrants because they feel they have everything they need. So whether it's the food, the people, the friends, the schools, the mosques, the churches. So you feel like you're at home. So look, Canterbury-Bankstown, as we know, is home to more than 150 different, countries, people that hail from 150 different countries. So no matter which country you come from, Canterbury-Bankstown is home because you're going to have your culture, you're going to have your faith that is so important to you in the city. So look, I've always felt included. You got your odd stories here and there, but the reality is Canterbury-Bankstown's always been home since I arrived in Australia. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
I suppose over this time, have you ever faced any sort of misunderstandings or stereotypes about Bankstown community?
Absolutely. There's Bankstown has or had, it's actually changing, it's improving. Stigma that it's always negative, crimes, so on and so forth. The reality is crimes is going down. The reality is Bankstown is a place, and that's what I, want to achieve, right? Where Bankstown is a place where people can work, live, study, and raise a family. And we're on track. We're on track to achieve that. But there is that negative that you hear it all the time, that you're from Bankstown. We are unique. We are different. But we're proud of that. We're proud of the fact that we have more than 150 different, people that hail from 150 different countries. We're proud that we speak more than 100 different languages. We're proud of our multi-faith community. This is why we're different. This is why we're unique. We're not like everyone else. But that's why we're special too. So the reality is, and I say this all the time, we might not be the richest community in Australia, but we're definitely the most generous community in Australia. And going back to what you mentioned about the bushfires, and I'll say this story. One day, it was early on during the bushfires before COVID a few years ago, where I get a random call. I was at a youth program. I get a random call. I was a counsellor at the time, and I get a random call from one of my mates that I've been working with for many, many years. He goes, man, the bushfire is pretty bad. I think it was a Monday, and he goes, can we do something to try to support people? It was in Taree at the time. It was it was very early on during the bushfires, and I said to him, yeah, absolutely. We had nothing planned, nothing, like literally zero. So I get on social media that night, and I do a video to say, look, I actually spoke to my manager at the time at the PCYC, and I go, look, I need a small room where I want to ask people to donate food and water, and so we can take them up to Taree. He said, yep. He's giving me this room. So I do this video that night to say, we're doing this trip. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're collecting stuff. If you want to donate, by all means, drop them off at the PCYC from this time. I think it's like from 10 to 7 or something. And that we're going up on Friday. So that first day, there was people coming from everywhere. And I mean people from all every culture, every faith, no faith. People were coming from everywhere.
All walks of life.
All walks of life. They're coming from everywhere. So this is for you. I saw what you guys are doing. We didn't think it would be that big. And then the next day was the same story, and it was just spread throughout the whole community in Canterbury-Bankstown. And man, it was just so difficult. The court at the PCYC was almost full when we asked for that small room. So that night we cancelled all our programs at the PCYC those 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, because there was nowhere for people to do any activities because it was full. That night I get a phone call from a guy I've never met in my life. And he said to me, look, I'm watching what you guys are doing. And I go, fantastic. And he goes, I have a tree lopping business. Oh, yeah. He goes, I will offer 5 trucks. If you need more, I'll get you more. The diesel, the drivers, all for free.
Wow.
Oh, brilliant. Never met this bloke in my life. Just calls randomly and says, I'm doing that. And then I had this lady call. Her kids used to go to Holy Spirit in Lakemba. And she actually called my mate. And she goes, look, I'm watching what you guys are doing. Same story. Is what do you need? We want to support you, but we don't want to support you with something you don't need. What do you need? So we look at each other and we go, all right, what do we need? We're like, this is the PCYC full, like completely full.
Yeah.
And all right, it's all bags. I go, how are we going to take these things up? So we thought, okay, we need boxes. There's Visi boxes. So she went and donated 1,000 boxes.
Wow.
Yeah, 1,000. I think it was like $5 or $10 a box or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she paid for that?
She paid for all the boxes. Wow. So we go up to, Thursday night. Thursday day we'll try to pack everything in boxes.
Yeah.
Thursday night we get the trucks at the PCYC. We stay there till midnight packing the trucks with the intention that there's a 4-5 hour drive to Taree the next morning. We set the alarm at 5:30 in the morning. The trucks leave a bit earlier because they're slower, obviously. So we leave at 5:30. We get to Taree with about 5 trucks, and we go to the showground. And these people we didn't even call them, told them we're coming, none of that. We just get there, and this lady just comes up to me and she goes, "Are you one of the organisers?" I go, "One of many, right?" And she was just crying. She was crying and crying and crying. And I actually got that on video. And she goes, I go, "Why are you crying?" She goes, "I effing hated you guys." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, people from Bankstown, straight to my face, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I go, "Okay." And she goes, "I can't believe the people we hated are the first one to come to the rescue even before the government. That for me, that and we asked her why.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was very blunt, very straightforward, and she goes, "Mate, the media made us hate you."
Oh,
Yeah.
did she?
Yeah, she did. She goes,
Wow.
all we saw is negative stuff in the media about Bankstown and Canterbury-Bankstown. And then we went over to the RFS station. Again, just unloaded a lot of things, and there was so many things we couldn't get rid of it.
Must have sore hands by the end of the day. Carrying all those boxes.
And a lot of the people that went up, like the drivers, I only met in Taree.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so the RFS officer over there just again starts to cry, and it was the same story. I hated you guys. It was all about the media. They made you guys look like, you know, animals. It was these kind of words. And we asked, "What about now?" He goes, "Man, I love you guys." You know, so it's just media perception. For us, we didn't do it for that reason. We did it because, you know, we wanted to give back, and it was, you know, our fellow Aussies that are in trouble, and as a country, we do that very well. We look after one another.
That's right.
You know, in times of need, and they were going through a tough time, and we did exactly that. And it was a local community of Canterbury-Bankstown from all walks of life that donated. It wasn't a specific culture or a specific religion or people with no faith or whatever. It was actually the whole community that rallied, that wanted to give back.
Yeah.
But this is what we're good at, right? As Aussies, we like to look after one another in times of need, and we did that.
Generosity is our policy.
Absolutely. But the future is definitely bright. There is a lot happening. There is a lot of things that are happening. And it will start to show as we go. We've seen the university, you know, imagine a $1.3 billion hospital in Bankstown, the metro, you know, like Bankstown's being transformed.
Absolutely.
It is exciting times ahead.
I suppose, like, if we were to wrap up, like, what would be, for the younger generation, what would be like a message that, I suppose, that you would provide as a mentor in the community, in terms of, I suppose, how can we just better understand each other as human beings?
Yeah, just respect, tolerate, accept. The reality is we're all different.
Yeah.
But we're all the same. You know, we're all human beings. Don't judge people based on anything other than they're human beings. As I said, you know, as long as you don't hurt people, you don't harm people, I don't care what you do in your personal life.
Yeah.
That's your thing. And respect one another. But to the younger people out there, you know, just as I said earlier, don't forget where you've come from. Don't forget your background, your culture, your religion, your faith. Don't forget any of that, because that's what made you who you are today. And to the younger people, obviously, if someone like me can be the mayor, who couldn't speak a word of English, the opportunities for all these young people are limitless. I was doing a talk yesterday at a school, a leadership talk, and I said to him, I started school, I couldn't speak English. I had to go to school. How many people were born in Australia? And almost all of them except one raised their hand. I go, mate, you're already way ahead of me in terms of, you know, trying to be successful. And just don't forget to give back.
Yeah.
You know, don't forget to give back, whether it's a local charity, your local sporting club, you know, whatever, you know, you want to do, just give back to the local community. You'll be rewarded.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your messages with us, your story, and all that you have learnt and all that you plan to do.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To check out more episodes of Voices of CBCity, more information, or our disclaimers, check out our website, cb.city/Voices of CBCity. The Voices of CBCity podcast is hosted by James Brown and Anna Sotoma, produced by Renee Trainer and edited by the City of Canterbury-Bankstown. This project is funded by the New South Wales Government through the New South Wales Social Cohesion Grants for Local Government and led by the City of Canterbury-Bankstown.
To finish our Voices of CBCity today, we'll be featuring a different kind of voice of CBCity, students in the Respect program. The Respect program is facilitated by local community youth arts organisation based in Bankstown named Outloud. Respect is a music program for boys under 12 years old, teaching them about domestic violence and gender equality with a view to prevent and reduce domestic violence in the future. Over 12 weeks, the boys write, record and perform an original song and also become active agents of social change and role models in their schools. There are some amazing songs that you can check out on Outloud's YouTube channel, but for today, we hope you enjoy Equality is a Necessity by students from Georges Hall Public School.
Fairness, equality is a necessity to bring awareness, is our destiny. Fairness, equality is a necessity, this world of ours deserves generosity.
Do you think it's fair to show despair? To live a good life we need kindness in the air. So start when you're young if you want a good life, cause when I'm old I respect my wife.
Always treat girls the way you wanna be treated. We need to break this cycle before it's repeated. It doesn't matter what gender you are, we are all the same. So before it's too late, let's start playing this game.
Men and women are both the same. Discrimination of gender is not fair game. If domestic violence didn't exist, our world would look like harmony and peace.
I'm sending a message to all of the haters. Don't be abusive, don't be perpetrated. Equality shouldn't happen just now and then. It should happen always to women and men.
All Australians, we live in harmony. We are all one, we value diversity. Everyone in this world has equal rights. We all want peace, we don't want fight.
Fairness, equality is a necessity to bring awareness, is our destiny. Fairness, equality is a necessity, this world of ours deserves generosity.
I'm here to send a message out to the world, to men and women, to boys and girls. Girls can do anything that boys can. So while we're young, we should make a plan.
Men and women, they are both strong, but if you show domestic violence, that's so wrong. You should never make a girl feel sad. To put women down cause of gender is bad.
We want peace and equality in our town. We want fairness and happiness all around. If someone's feeling sad and upside down, let's all work together to turn this world around.
Let's set a good example to everybody out there. Whether you're a boy or girl, you should be treated fair. Need to be a role model for the younger ones. Fairness and love to all daughters and sons.
Fairness, equality is a necessity, bring awareness, is our destiny. Fairness, equality is a necessity, this world of ours deserves generosity. Fairness, equality is a necessity to bring awareness, is our destiny. Fairness, equality is a necessity, this world of ours deserves generosity.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
And I'm Jacob.
And we're both in Year 6 at Georges Hall Public School.
This year we did the Respect program at our school, which is run by Outloud.
Outloud is a community organisation that runs programs for young people, addressing social issues using arts and performance.
Each week in the Respect program, we learn all about domestic violence and the importance of healthy relationships.
Then we all work together to write this song called Equality is a Necessity.
We should always respect our partner and treat them equally in a relationship. Otherwise, this can lead to domestic violence. So equality is always a necessity in all relationships.
We hope you enjoyed our song.
Fairness, equality is a necessity to bring awareness, is our destiny. Fairness, equality is a necessity. This world of ours deserves generosity.